somebody who voted for Mark Carney, his lack of awareness to me is scary. I want to know more about your stance about liberals aren't the cure, they're the problem, because I'm pretty in the middle between parties. So, because I take politics courses and stuff like that. I'm very into politics, but I see good and bad from both sides. Recently, I have seen more questionable activities from the Liberal Party. I just want to know your stance on it.
Yeah, okay. So if you look at everything that the Liberal Party has had their hand in, it seems to all have gone awry. Maybe not everything, but almost all of it.
Yeah.
So like immigration and housing and the national debt. I mean, if you just take the national debt itself, why would they overspend that much? It to me is kind of perplexing. And Carney, he claims to be an economist. He's a banker. He should understand things like inflation and the quantitative theory of money. He should understand these things, right?
Right.
So when he goes to adding so much more money to our economic system, that's going to cause inflation. It's going to make things harder. And this generational investment that he is putting into the country, which, I'm not seeing, if you look at the budget, it's like, really, I'm not seeing the generational investment here.
Yeah.
But he's putting that in as inflationary spending. It's literally not going to do anything. It's just going to basically make our lives worse. So he's a smart guy. He should be able to understand that.
Yeah.
And when I look at him, I think, okay, maybe there's something a little devious about what he's doing. Maybe he wants us to be dependent on him for government handouts. Like, I know that sounds kind of conspiratorial, but when you look at what he's done, like, it makes no sense to assume something else.
Well, there's some things. At least from what I see at the moment, Mark Carney is put in, I want to say, one of the most difficult terms you could be a prime minister in, with all the immigration out of control, with inflation right now in Canada reaching new highs, with living standards plummeting, and the whole fiasco with the Trump administration. It is a bad time to be a prime minister, both sides. And at least from what I see from his budget, a large part of that budget is going to these huge industrial projects across the country. In terms, there's huge copper mine in Saskatchewan, Northern Saskatchewan. They are trying to build a new highway and new economic system up in the very north of Nunavut. So that's connecting communities up there. And I think it was a new power plant, addition to the power plant out in Ontario. Okay. So I think from what I see from him is more of a Hail Mary attempt to put this huge investment in years reap the reward. My problem is I don't think that's going to help. And I think right now, that's a little bit too little, too late. And even though the budget is way over what anyone was going to think, even before the budget came out, I knew the budget was going to be high. Just because of everything going on. In an economic crisis like this, there is no one solution fixes all. And I think he knows that. I think he's at least going to try. I don't know if he's getting any government handouts. A lot of the things he has done has been shady, even as somebody who was a Liberal voter. But I really don't think that this budget is going to help Canada. I think right now it's...
Yeah, like you're mentioning some of the things like the announced just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. So
it's too early to...
Oh my goodness. No, a lot of those things. Like there were I think it was 6 projects or 12. 6 projects maybe.
I think it was
only
6 major projects.
Yeah, 6.
And then there was 6 other... there could be... there was probably a few more than 6, but then there's several other smaller projects that he's building as well. I know they're building a huge expansion of the Montreal Harbour. That's one that is long overdue. But again, I just think right now that's not the problem. I think we have to fix what's going on right now in the country rather than trying this Hail Mary. Mm-hmm.
But do you know actually that those projects that he announced, many of them were already approved and funded during the Trudeau era?
Oh yeah, but would they? The thing is that are they going to go through? Because during Trudeau's reign, I don't want to say reign. While Trudeau was prime minister, we all knew they weren't going to get accepted. They weren't going to go through. Some of these projects, especially the Montreal Harbor, pretty sure has been in works for so long, and I think it's just a talk of, is he going to actually do it? And I think announcing it is a start for actually doing it, because Trudeau seemed like he forgot about it. And that's why I think Saskatchewan, Alberta, they're leaning so much for the Conservative, because they feel forgotten. And I think that's his attempt to try and, bring jobs back to those areas, especially in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, where they're hurting. And I think he just wants to try his best, at least, to try to get these projects approved, because at the end of the day, it's also not totally in his control whether these projects get passed or not. Do I think most of these projects should go through? No. I think the problem right now is too large to have these huge industrial projects go in. We're too far in debt. Everyone's too tired. And it's not striking the root of the problem.
No.
And I think he's hoping that it will pay off, which it could. It would be really difficult to. And a lot of things would have to go right, but it most likely won't. All I hope is that we don't have too much information about any handouts or anything like that. There's some, but I just hope that we, as a country, that he isn't giving these handouts, and that these projects actually go to the people. Because if these handouts start getting uncovered, then I think his reign as prime minister is gonna be very rocky. Very, very rocky. And even as somebody who voted for Mark Carney, I don't know. The past few months, even though it's just the start, his lack of awareness to me is scary. And I would say, both sides are scary. I think parts of the Conservative side are scary too.